All right, everybody, welcome back to episode 8 of 9-1 Wine.
We've made it through 8 of these.
Shockingly and excitingly.
I'm still here.
And you will keep showing up.
As long as there's wine.
Exactly, that's how we keep them coming. We also
And a pretty face.
That's right.
That's exactly it.
Yeah.
We also have special guests tonight. Would you like to introduce yourself?
I'm John Buehler.
Hello.
Hello, girl.
Thanks, John. I'm Chris Morsoli. I am your co-host for 9-1 Wine, and
Let's give it up for Hillary Hoppy.
Hillary Hoppy. Hillary Hoppy, everyone. The number one primary host of this. I am just the co-host, which I like to point out often.
You're the eye candy, right?
I am the eye candy. I'm here because someone has to. Someone's got to do it, and I made it.
So
here we are,
and today we're going to be doing the April 2020 police log, and we're also doing May 1998 just because it seemed like a fun month.
It's kind of a retro.
It is.
Yeah.
Throwback.
Yeah, we're flashing back. Do we want to talk about what we're drinking first?
Well,
or
yes, but I always ask
It's red wine.
I always ask our guest what you think we do. You hadn't heard of 9-1 Wine. What is it you think we do here with this whole podcast, John?
I think you just came for the free wine. Right?
God, he is the first guy that's got that question right. And this free wine
Have
is.
to check to see if the flatware's missing later when you leave.
I can take it out of my pockets.
The metal detector.
So, for those at home, we are drinking a 2017 Buehler Zinfandel. And before this, we were lucky enough to drive with John.
Ride with.
Ride with John, see the Zinfandel and the Cab vineyards that they have planted up here. Over 50 acres here in Conn Valley. Beautiful property.
I know.
Right? Yeah. And just a really fantastic trip up here. Amazing wine. Run us through the history here, John.
Okay, my favorite color is blue. I like Scotland.
And what's your astrological sign?
Exactly. Yeah, exactly. I don't know. As I said, I got here almost 50 years ago. So, as I mentioned to you earlier, I'm in the witness protection program. I perfected self-isolation half a century ago. I like to wear that, and I'm going to take it for granted. But yeah, so that Zen vineyard got planted in about 1972, 71 or 72. So, all vines.
Cool.
God. And there's something special about an Old Vine Zen Vineyard. And you guys absolutely have one. It's beautiful. So, thank you. What are your favorite, I don't know, components of the wine, or what do you, what do you
no trick
taste in it?
questions, no heckling. Okay, we'll get through this. I tell people we're in the business of good taste. That's things that taste good. So it's not old school, but it's right down the middle of the fairway in terms of balance. Yeah.
Absolutely. And the coolest part that we got to see today was when John put us to work. First of all, we've already fed the horses, medicated the horses,
Met the chickens.
And the duck.
Hung out with Birdie and the duck. Yeah.
And the duck.
Absolutely. And saw the old original winery on the property, which is right on the label.
Yeah.
Yeah. So
that's what it looked like before the rain.
Oh, okay.
Yeah, before the gale force winds and torrential rains.
Oh,
Took
wow.
it down after 100 and something years.
the wind finally got to it.
Do you think you'll ever put like a roof back on it and build it up?
It's a function of, well, it's all about, it's cash flow. Yeah, so maybe someday in my lifetime. I mean, that would be, but yeah, as it stands now, it's just, it's the home of the resident Habermers, the horses that hang out in it when it starts to rain. But yeah, it's...
So the history, though, of that
building
old winery
goes back to 1885.
Mm-hmm. And they used to make wine there?
Oh yeah.
Yeah.
Well, you saw the press. You
Yep.
saw the crusher. And even as you drive out Conn Valley Road, that just before you get to Greenfield Road, remember that old building that's falling over?
Yeah, it's one of the ghost wineries.
Yeah. As was this one, but that was the old Franco Swiss winery, and it shuttered its doors. It was reputed to be the 5th largest winery in the county around the turn of the century. And then with Prohibition, it shuttered its doors. And then it became kind of like the farm center for all the folks in Conn Valley back in the 30s. And then it turned into a perlite plant, or vermiculite, which is that lightweight aggregate.
Yeah.
And then when you go to
fertilizer.
Say whitings. Yeah, but you see it's that lightweight aggregate in the potting plant.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah. So, but there were probably 4 or 5 wineries in Con Valley.
And
That's
how
amazing.
long have you been in this area?
Are you a cop?
Not this week.
She
Okay.
knows. She knows a few.
Since 1971. But I started coming up here as a kid because my brother-in-law's dad owned all that vineyard.
Mm-hmm.
So I started coming up in the late 50s.
Okay.
How did you find this spot?
We looked long and hard. Look at my parents got the view lot. They paid for it. It's pretty spectacular. And just it was just 5 miles out of town. And yeah, as I said, I've driven that road out here. My 4 kids that never took the bus to school. I've driven that road 50,000 times. And when they did start driving, I immediately went on speed dial at Carl's Body Shop. I own 2 power poles because they make you pay for them. But yeah, so almost a half a century.
That's pretty cool.
Lots of changes.
Pretty cool.
Yeah, there were a lot fewer people back then. Everybody knew everybody. As I said, if they weren't already related to each other. That's particularly true with the Morzolis.
You're right.
The Forneys and the Shudos and the
Yep. If you didn't already know him, you were probably related to him.
Yeah,
So.
Bentinelli and
Yep.
So
But what a cool place to be, to start making. When was your first year of
commercial
winemaking?
78.
78. Cool.
You guys, was Donna McCornack? Was she still?
Yes.
Oh, of course.
Yes.
Okay, Donna Rutherford.
Mm-hmm.
And Donna used to tell me, because she grew up here, that St. Helena was a drive-through in the 50s because everybody was on their way from the Bay Area to Calistoga to do the mineral baths, and there wasn't any reason to stop in St. Helena. She said, at that point, they would just applaud when people came through town.
Just happy.
Yeah, and then the Liberty Theater, the Roxy Theater was, and Mills.
Yep.
And 3 hardware stores in town, Chromas and Steve's, the old Steve's when it used to be where Martin Design is, and
That's right. Yeah.
the old wooden floors, and
What was the coolest part about St. Helena
then
that is different today?
just the sense of community back then. Everybody, as I said, everybody knew everybody if they weren't already related to each other. So that was, and for me, it's really funny. When I first showed up, 20 years old, I had started working at Charles Krug during the summers in college because they were family friends. And then when I first got here, though, I think everybody was taking not the spread, but the betting is. I was the city kid, so everybody was taking the over and under as to how long I'd last. But I'm still here.
What was your first job at Charles Krug?
We're actually working.
Cellar ad or what?
No, I was working in the vineyard for Alex Bianco.
Yeah.
And I guess I think his son, or I don't know. Anyway, I just looked at not the police log, but in the Star today, there's a Bianco who grew up here, who's a policeman now.
Oh my goodness.
Yeah, so I'm wondering.
Cool.
But yeah, Alex was a character. He could sell the same tractor to Peter Mondavi twice. He was just. Alex was just. It was funny. But yeah, that's what I did at Krug. And then, as I said, it was everybody. But the nice thing is, everybody kind of took me under their wing and took care of me when I got up
Cool.
here.
So if you had a mentor, who would you think that would have? If you could put 1 or 2 people that really
Well, I
helped you into
started
that.
out with my brother-in-law's dad's vineyard manager up on Mount Veeder.
Cool.
And then I was like 8 or 9 or 10. That's when I learned to drive a Willys Jeep. It actually wasn't even a Willys; it was a Ford because Ford was making them during the war.
Yep. Yeah.
And,
You have to come by the house someday. My dad and I restore old Ford Jeeps, not Willys, the Fords.
That's
cool.
how I
Yeah.
learned to drive stick shift.
You know
Some
who
of
else
way.
has
those
a really
Jeeps.
cool collection of Broncos is Jack Burrows.
Yes,
Oh my
he
God,
does.
of course.
Yeah, pretty amazing.
Mm-hmm.
So,
I love the Rosas, man. That's cool.
but yeah, that's the part I miss about saying
Mhm.
it was just just the community spirit.
Yeah.
And so all 4 of my kids kind of matriculated through the school system. And that's the fun thing too, Hillary, is that these kids will show up here, they're working for the tree service or like Woody works for Wilbur Ellis.
Yep.
And you don't see him for 20 years, and all of a sudden I'll say, "Did you grow up here?" He goes, "Oh yeah, I went to school with Helena, or I went to school with Paige, or I went to school with Lindsay, or I went to school with Jonathan."
Yeah, well, just in the last half hour talking, I mean, gosh, we've talked about
Everyone.
all of our local friends and
Yeah.
That's web that we all
Some have
know.
moved away, some have
Yeah.
passed away.
Yeah.
I think the story, I promise you, go find Boots is.
Can we hear the Boots Forney story? Can we?
Yeah.
So talk to us about Boots Forney.
All right. Well, Boots was quite a character, and Boots was probably 5th generation Napa, and Boots was the silent partner at Wilcox Tractor. And was telling you, Chris, that I spent it early on when this was just rocks and rattlesnakes. I spent a lot of time, burned a lot of diesel, broke a lot of bolts and bearings, and I spent an inordinate amount of time. Probably your dad was probably in there too, getting parts.
I'm sure he was.
Wilcox Tractor.
2 of our Ford tractors still have the Wilcox.
Oh yeah,
sticker
well,
on
I
it,
have
right?
an old Wilcox tin disc that's and we keep rebuilding that.
Yep.
But anyway, quick to point out that Boots was larger than life, and this is how it used to be. Of course, with Harold Smith and Sons, all the management guys drank the pastime, and all the Teamsters drank at Ray's Place, which is now in
Yeah, that's right. And Tom Rinaldi told us about Ray's Place too.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah. So anyway, yeah.
Well, they didn't tell you about Crazy Mary, did they?
No. What's
No.
Side. Let's hear about Crazy Mary.
Crazy Mary was a fixture in St. Helena back in the day.
Was she a bartender or a patron?
A patron.
Okay.
Yeah, who would walk up and down the street? We may not have to edit this, but do you want to see my raspberries? We do this.
Well, every
God bless
town needs
Crazy
that little
Mary.
flair.
Yeah, I guess a little color. Anyway, to finish the story about Boots is, I was probably the ripe age of 21, and Boots came up to me. I was at the parts counter and asked me if I want. And I will describe Boots as kind of the Marlboro man. He was, 6'2", ruddy complexion, cowboy boots, belt buckle, and but the real deal. And as I said, the family, they were, walnuts, prunes, grapes. They had what's now Maryville, but it was a sunny St. Helena winery,
Okay. Yeah.
which was it was kind of a miniature version of the co-op, Napa
Okay.
Valley Co-op, which is now Hall. Can't see. Anyway, Boots came up to me and asked me if I wanted to go have a drink. And I looked at him and said, Boots, it's 1 o'clock in the afternoon. This is the first time, but not the last time I went drinking with Boots. And but Boots would always announce to the girls in the office that he'd be right back. Well, needless to say, after a day of drinking. And that generation got up before the crack of dawn, and they were done by 2 in the afternoon. And it was off to the bars. And Boots would always announce that he'd be right back. Well, as I said, after a day of drinking, whether it was at the El Real, or the Oak Bucket, or or the Grapevine, there were a lot of bars. And anyway, Boots is buried in the St. Helena St. Helena Cemetery, and he's above ground. And it says Al Boots Forney, 1912 to 1999, and the epitaph is, "I'll be right back." So that's worth the price of admission to go and walk through. And it's great walking through the cemetery in St. Helena because
You see all the old names and all the old history, and it's really
and
cool.
all the Italians over the Catholic.
By God, you're right.
My parents are right up in front, and then Jerry and Flo Comas, who, Sean's grandparents are 100 feet apart from him.
Wow,
Yeah.
that's cool. No, that's one thing that's so awesome about San Diego is you have
Well,
that.
I bet you. Where's your granddad buried?
Yeah, they're all in San Helena.
On the Catholic side.
I didn't know there were different sides. This is
Yeah. Oh yeah. Absolutely. Yeah.
That's,
Two
that's where I
separate
went
sides.
wrong.
Yeah.
I'm probably on the other side. That's why I never knew it.
It's all the mausoleums and all the above ground.
Uh-huh.
It's every name ends with a vowel.
Mm-hmm. Yep. Irony or no?
Yeah, it's pretty.
Or
It's pretty funny. So.
Okay.
And we're
Sometimes
getting. Well, my mother. I'm the product of mixed marriage. My dad was non-practicing Episcopalian. My mother was a devout Catholic. So, based on my mother's old fashions, she got my dad into the Catholic cemetery. Father Brinkle loved my mother's.
God, he's great. Father Brinkle. He's
Yeah.
awesome.
He was great.
Yeah.
Well, should we jump in?
Let's
Yeah.
do it.
Do you
All
want to
right.
start?
Sure. Let's see here. This is pretty standard, but we'll start off with April 11th at 2:53. A caller complained about constant leaf blowing and tree trimming in the Pope Street area. Sorry. John, we always ask. There is at least 10 entries every time in the police log about leaf blowers.
Yeah, before
Thoughts
8
on-
o'clock in the afternoon.
Thoughts
Yeah.
on leaf blowers?
Can't hear from my house.
Perfect.
I have another leaf blower. Report of a very loud leaf blower on Dean York Lane. Police made sure it wasn't loud enough to violate the city's ordinance.
Do they have a decibel
I
checker?
was just gonna ask, how is it determined if it's too loud or loud enough? Like, is that really in our city ordinance? Like, cannot
It
be
is.
over
It's
so
like
many like amps or something?
100 decibels or something. I don't know. I haven't read the.
Is that on a leaf blower? Is there a little like
No.
sound
Like an
thing?
applause gauge?
Yeah.
Like an applause meter? No.
Yeah.
How about this? At Thursday, April 9th, 10:44 in the morning, a man driving on Silverado Trail said the roof of a portable toilet had flown off of another vehicle and hit his. That's shitty.
It's dangerous. Oh, yeah,
Sorry.
It's dangerous out there. Stay safe out there. Yeah.
How about Thursday, April 9th, also at 2:52 in the afternoon, there were a large number of bees near Crane Avenue. Tragic.
This is the best part of the stars, the police law. Second only to the obituaries. Oh, this one's good. Officer reports moving a dead cat to the side of the road on Pope Street. Public Works is notified.
And as we've learned before, Public Works doesn't do deer.
They do not
Yeah,
do
they
deer.
don't do deer, they don't do...
They do
And
cats.
I guarantee they don't do skunks.
And they only come at certain times of the day.
They're off by 3.
Our tax dollars. Well, Hillary, you read one. Come on.
Okay, what about an oldie?
What a goodie.
I'm
An
filling up
oldie
on
but
some
a
more
goodie.
Buehler Zin here real quick.
You're not driving.
Nope.
You got a designated driver.
I know. Stop.
Citizen calls to report a missing parrot. Rika. The parrot is about 10 inches tall, green with a white spot on its chest, its head, and purple underneath her tail. Very friendly bird. This is at 7:05 on Monday, May 11th, 1998.
Do parrots come back? Like, do they know?
Well, I have a really good end to this story.
Oh my God, you know about this.
I do.
Okay.
The next day, Tuesday, May 12th, at noon, and 7 minutes after, the lost parrot from the above log returns home.
Oh, see, there's a happy ending.
There's a happy ending.
I have a visual image of this parrot with a
Rika?
suitcase. Parrot
Walking out the door. It's like, I've had it. I've got it.
back at the front door, ringing the doorbell, ready to come home.
Hillary, look down at the end.
Oh, kitty.
Who's this?
That's Blue.
Hi, Lou.
Hillary, look on the
I was
floor.
going to say right over here. Oh.
That's Tony. And Tony showed up about a year ago.
Hi.
That's Blue. He was a rescue cat. And then Tony, did you see Tony?
Yeah.
He had the bobtail.
Yeah, we got Bob because he showed up. He could have been more than a month. I think I told you the story. A month old when he appeared. Well, maybe 3 weeks old, and wandered into the winery and feral kitten. But yeah, so
Hello.
Dr. Gold bobbed him because the tail was hanging by a thread. He was tick infested, flea ridden, but I mean he's been turned into an awesome cat.
And the animals love Hillary. Let me tell you.
I'm a
What's
big.
not to love?
Oh,
The-
thank you.
The horses today.
Well,
On to the next.
on to the next. What about report of a disturbance on Valley View Street? Is Valley View in? No, that's Vineyard Valley.
No, Valley View is the one that connects Grayson
Yeah.
to Spring.
I was thinking Valley View was in Vineyard Valley, and I was gonna say, woof.
That's
it's
your
getting-
future home.
It's like
You have to be
I would
55.
I would love to live there right now.
Would you really?
Yeah,
Well, we'll just lie about your age.
I think
Yeah.
I'll pass.
Yeah.
It's calm. It's
I think you'll be
cute.
fine.
Yeah.
We'll just have to chill on the parties. You'll just have to only have 10 or 20
It's
people
like
over.
Corona. It's training me for my move.
Perfect.
And then after that, it's up to the Silverado Orchards,
Exactly.
and then to the San Leandro Cemetery.
Yes.
Yeah.
So here's a problem. This is on the 19th of April, 3:30. Report of 2 teens smoking in a vineyard on Pratt Avenue. They couldn't wait one more day till 4:20.
Oh yeah. Why? Were they? Yeah. Was it cigarettes or?
It doesn't say.
Okay, but also
Let's hear
in
it.
light of Hank's little escapade,
What happened to
I'd
Hank?
like to blame these people.
What happened?
Smoking their cigarette butts in the vineyard.
Yeah, because our puppy was on Pratt Avenue and either ate marijuana or a cigarette butt and ended up in the vet and almost didn't make it through the night.
But
It
Dr.
wasn't
Gold,
me.
Dr. Gold saved him.
It
Was
was
Dr.
not
Gold?
Dr.
It
Gold,
was
it
not-
was
it was not.
Dr. I can't pronounce his name.
Yes.
Because it's Hungarian.
Yes.
Yes,
It's
at Eller's.
yes.
Yeah, good guy. Good doctor.
But anyway, these people, there should be a fine out for their
Do you think it
arrest.
was actually were they taking marijuana out there?
I would not be surprised.
Probably. One day early.
He's very lucky. I'm always mildly amused when I read the police log as to how trivial some of this stuff is.
What do you have over there?
He's speechless.
Well, no, I'm just I was just reading one after the other. An officer found a juvenile playing basketball on Hillview Place. The juvenile ran off when the officer arrived. You can't play basketball?
That's pretty harsh.
Yeah.
Oh, this one's a little creepy.
Let's hear it.
A jogger reported being followed by a suspicious man in a blue SUV. He pulled over, struck up a weird conversation with her, saying they were lucky that his dog was inside the car with him.
Very creepy. Sounds like Cole Ballantyne's ice cream story.
Yeah, and
Yeah.
well, what classifies as a weird conversation?
That's what I feel. What I feel is really interesting in the police log is they have some very interesting adjectives, like the dogs, cute, brown, long-haired, sad. You know, they get everything. You know, and I appreciate that. They're very, very, very helpful. How about 2 men seen drinking alcohol in their cars on Main Street, Friday, April 10th? Well, they're sheltering in park.
In their car.
They're sheltering in park.
The key to that is just don't have your key in the ignition.
Right.
Then, let's see, on Tuesday, March 31st, there were 2 large pieces of furniture in front of an Edward Street home. The occupants were moving out, and they said they wouldn't leave anything behind.
Okay.
So they
So
were
it wasn't
moving.
free. Yeah.
It was not free.
Have you ever picked up anything free on the sidewalk?
No.
I don't think
Not even
so.
when you were in college.
No.
Well, that wasn't free. Well, it was free love. Were you talking about STDs or furniture?
Strictly couches.
Okay.
You know, that's one thing I tend
I don't
to...
feel a couch on the porch is or a couch on the sidewalk is really my jam. But
No,
you never know.
I don't think so
It
either.
is a little.
And let me tell you, the Army has had some
Used
very
furniture.
amazing furniture in Afghanistan and Iraq. You would take anything you could get, you know.
So you would have taken
But I
it
still don't
back
know if
on.
I'd take a street sidewalk
couch or
or
bed.
I don't think I would. Yeah, I just don't know where it's been.
Ass.
What other good ones do you have?
Well, it's pretty thin. I'm hard pressed to find something that really is noteworthy.
Well,
Go ahead.
What happened? So we have the police log of
Do I
today.
have 98 or do I have?
You have 2020.
Oh, okay.
Do you want? Here's the
So-
98.
No, that's okay.
So this is
I
good.
just
And
hope they find the 5 geese that were reported missing. It's not like they flew away.
wait, 5 geese reported missing.
Did you guys ever see the movie Fly Away Home?
Oh, amazing! Yeah.
Did you actually?
I want one of those.
Yeah.
One of those
I
airplanes.
questioned it.
It's amazing.
Yeah. So did you know though that opening scene of that movie
Oh, that's when the
is
geese fly-
is Saint Helena?
Seriously?
In the opening scene where the daughter and the mom are driving, it's Main Street Saint Helena.
No
You'll
way.
both have to watch it
Well,
tonight.
you remember when all the geese used to be at the high school
Yes.
on the field
Yes.
Mm-hmm.
pooping.
Yeah. So, but since watching that movie and it was in Saint Helena, I've been convinced that
That's
I was going
phenomenal.
to raise geese one day. So maybe that's what this person was doing.
So, what other movies were filmed in Napa Valley? Let's play this game for a minute.
Jack
Jack.
with
Yep.
Robin Williams.
It's definitely. Coppola. I think they had a lot of that going on at Coppola's.
Parent Trap.
Parent Trap. Where was the Parent Trap filmed at?
That wasn't that on Spring Mountain?
It was Staglin.
Oh,
So
that's a
yeah, they
lot.
filmed it in Rutherford, and then the Staglin house was the backdrop for the Parent Trap.
For the second period.
The second one.
Second
Thank you.
Parent Trap.
Mm-hmm.
Rock Hudson.
Oh,
years
man, I was
ago,
just
I
gonna say it.
remember The movie.
The Earth Is Mine.
Yeah, that's it.
Oh my God!
What
if you
about-
haven't seen The Earth Is Mine,
I haven't seen it.
just for the soul history part of it, it's really cool.
Okay.
The acting is, ooh,
Was
really
Bottle
bad,
Shock filmed
really,
here?
really bad.
Huh?
Bottle Shock?
No.
No. It was
Oh, you know, some of it was filmed in Calistoga.
Okay.
Yeah.
Talk about exercising some creative license.
Yes.
That movie.
Well, so Paris Tasting of '76.
Yeah.
We talked about this on our Gurgit Shells episode.
Mm-hmm.
Who'd you interview at Kirkich?
Each
Ourselves, yeah.
Ah,
We couldn't get anyone.
okay.
Mike said, no.
Other. Did we even ask?
We didn't.
Yeah,
ask
he
him.
hadn't seen Hillary.
So,
we gotta
but
lead with that more often.
interesting though. So you were here '72, right?
That happened.
Right before everything happened.
Yeah.
What was the valley like pre-Paris tasting and post-Paris tasting? And how did you feel about that?
It's
really a psychologist question.
As I said, didn't really register.
Yeah.
I don't think the valley really kind of became that in itself. I mean, obviously it brought Napa Valley into the forefront of the limelight, but it didn't create the surge of people that were coming to Napa. And I guess it legitimized everything we were doing.
I think everyone always thinks of that as like a boom, a quick turning point, but maybe it was more of a slow roll of.
Yeah, it was.
Yeah.
Yeah, I mean, just remember, Chris, your granddad and your dad were still farming and carrying on and I always used to get a kick out of the fact folks would come up and comment on how beautiful the vineyards were in the fall because the red leaves and it's kind of like you hated to tell them this virus. And that back in the day, and again, your granddad and your dad might remember this too. We used to harvest grapes in November because they just didn't get ripe.
Couldn't get there. Yeah.
If you made 22 bricks, you were, the king of the hill.
Wow.
I mean, when Mondavi started out, there was a penalty clause.
Above 26, right? Was it
above 22 and a half.
22. Holy smokes. 22.
Yeah.
That's phenomenal. Well, as we were talking earlier,
change is constant. There's, I mean, that's what and you've seen it growing up here. My kids grew up here. But here's what I miss. I miss Ben Franklin.
Yep.
The crafts.
Yeah, I was in Smith's Rexall. I don't know, there on a fairly regular basis, and I guess I should be flattered, but when she looked at me, goes, "It's a charge, right?" I said, "Yeah." And she goes, "Oh, you can tell you're an old timer when you still have a charge." But everybody had charges, and it was a handshake, and the last thing you wanted to do was pass a bad check at Keller's because it did it.
Yeah,
right
we just talked about Keller's last week.
Or Junie's, because they would put your name on the do not cash this checklist.
But that was
Old Town
the way it
Helena.
was. Yeah. I mean, and the personalities and the characters back then were real.
Yep.
And there was no pretense. There was no. It was a farming community.
Yeah.
And we have to remember that in the 60s and 70s, the number one employer was either Mare Island and or Napa Pike.
That's how my family got up here.
Really?
It was Mare Island.
No
That's
way.
where my grandpa was.
Yeah. I mean, you were either an electrician or a stevedore, or you were a pipe fitter at Napa Pike.
Wow.
So very blue collar, and people with salt of the earth. They were just they were good people.
Yeah.
I think that shows now a lot in the log. I think
You
we
we have different groups of folks up here.
Yeah, a coyote was
careful about
seen near the creek bed
Oh my God.
by
No way.
Meadow Creek and Star. Where I feel like, all of us and growing up here, like seeing a coyote is kind of just,
It's second nature.
yeah. You lay in bed at night and you hear them howl.
No.
And now it's in the police log.
Things have changed.
Well, it gets back to
Yeah.
it just gets back to the points in the police log used to be. Well, they didn't used to have a police log, but when they did, it was the complaints about sulfur on a car, or the wind machines going off, or
Let's hear it.
the volunteer fire department and the siren.
Yes.
A lot of complaints,
That was
right?
my favorite thing to watch tours when the siren went off.
We would always say that's Sonoma County coming over to bomb us.
I was just going to say, I would be like, the bombs are not coming. Like, it's just the volunteer fire department.
Were you your dad on Rutherford?
My dad wasn't. I am on the Rutherford Volunteer Fire Department, which is.
Well, you were too young to remember Ed Shacks.
Oh no, I was there. I ran calls with Ed Shacks. Yeah.
Is that when you crashed
when
the fire truck in the ditch?
I sunk. I didn't crash
This is the guy
it.
that flies helicopters.
I did sink a fire truck in the mud, and Ed. I remember the first call I ran with Ed. We were driving, and he said, "Slow down, man. He said, we want to arrive alive." I said, "Okay, I'll slow down,
But you
Ed."
get that, it's like buck fever. You get that adrenaline.
Yeah, and then you get there, and someone's just.
Well, back to the
Trip there, fine.
Helena volunteer fire department, even when my best friend Steve Riddell was on it.
Mm-hmm.
After they put out the fire, there was a 24 pack on the
Absolutely.
on the tender. Yeah.
Yeah.
That was they can't do that anymore.
No.
Lifetimes have changed.
But as I said, the complaints about it, and it's just often wondered why people move here and don't realize that they're in an agricultural situation where people are going to get up in the middle of the night and
Yeah.
and sulfur, and the wind machines are going to go off in the frost. You know.
And what you love about it means leave it be. You don't have to change it. So,
Yeah. It's just a walk down memory lane. It's just
Yeah.
Mel's and Chroma hardware and
Well, here's a memory. On Sunday, May 10th, 1998, resident reports being flagged down by subjects in a car near the high school. Subjects claim they were being followed by a man who brandished a gun at them the day before.
What? This was the 1998.
1998.
1988.
that would have been the year that Lindsay graduated from high school.
I hope this wasn't her.
Wasn't me. It was
Officer-
a guy, not a girl.
Yeah. Officers responds and subsequently determines that the man who brandished the shotgun did so after the subjects broke his window and tried to gain entrance into his home. Situation pending.
Well, I can guarantee you Dave Curtin was on that call.
Dave Curtin was definitely there. God bless Dave Curtin. I miss that guy.
Yeah.
You know, that was also the fun part was everyone that was involved in the fire department or the police department also did, you know, the American Legion or all these other, you know, the Native Sons, something like that.
Again, back to the community.
And it was really cool. Yeah.
And
We still have it, but it's different.
What were you doing in 1998? What was your highlight of that year?
oh my gosh, you're asking a guy that just turned 70 who has a bracelet that says they're found dropping in your mailbox. So I have to turn back the hands of time. 1998, well, Paige had graduated from high school. Lindsay was graduating in 1998, and it's just been a
Raising kids.
Yeah.
Raising kids and farming and going up and down.
And I remember Helen, she was probably in RLS at that point.
Let's see, she was born, no, not even
Or-
then. She was born in 86,
Yep.
98. Yeah,
So she was-
would
yeah,
have been
okay.
in 6th grade.
Where were you in 98?
Just got into high school.
Wow.
I know. Crazy.
Wow.
Yeah, Don. I love Don. Yeah, Don and so you by then Ainsley was gone. Have you ever heard the stories about Ainsley?
Was he the guy that threw the keys? No.
He could have been. He was the one. Yeah, he was brilliant. But he would disappear and go over to Vintage, to either smoke or drink.
But Tom Hoppy was not yet at St. Helena High School on 98. He was still at RLS, I believe.
Yeah.
He was,
We honestly
yeah.
don't remember.
Yeah, Paige never forgave him for cutting him for the basketball team.
That's harsh.
But Paige went on to, I still think he holds the record for the longest kickoff return in St. Helena Saints.
No way.
Well,
How long?
There we go. So we could focus on that career instead.
It was, Tom. Well, who was coaching? I guess it was Tom and,
Any boy yet?
yeah, probably Boyette. But because of Donna's success with the volleyball team,
Uh-huh.
we got bumped up to this Division One. So these kids were so. I mean, we could barely field, 18 guys. Oh, this is it. Yeah,
We got cat fight.
This is the floor show.
Oh,
The
they just
kitty.
stopped.
Oh, nope, there it goes.
Are they still going at it?
We don't
Yeah.
want it. Oh, this is
They're
abs-
posing now.
Paint me like one of your French girls.
He's weird.
You talking about me or the cats, John?
You.
Okay, good. I was gonna say, don't call your cats weird,
Yeah.
especially on when we're performing here.
Because of Donna's success in the 80s with the volleyball team.
Mm-hmm.
With Sarah Bertoli and who else was on that team? Allison Zumwalt. I mean, those guys were, the whole sort of anyway. So that year is 96 and 95. Stanley and I was up against like River City and Bandon,
Mm-hmm.
where there would be, and one school out of Stockton where I think they just eliminated the football team at UOP.
Oh, yeah.
And so all these coaches showed up, they were like, and then we had Dr. Darter, who was the team physician,
Mm-hmm.
and I just remember Paige coming out with a couple of concussions, but we were just, that's why Paige had the longest kickoff return, because they were forever, receiving.
Yeah.
It was, 3.5, and then,
Yeah, concussions back in the 90s, they didn't really
They
count.
didn't
They didn't
exist.
count. No. Today, big deal.
yeah, I guess.
So what happened? You have it circled in front of you, John. What happened on Madrona and
Oh, that's the 5 geese that were reported.
below the 5 geese? They were found. They were fine.
They're in that movie. They became movie stars.
They were in Homeward Bound. Is it Homeward Bound?
No,
Home Away from Home.
no, Fly Away Home.
Fly Away Home. Thank God. Homeward Bound was about the 2 dogs. It's really cute.
And
Hillary
the cat.
loves any movie
3
with
dogs.
dogs.
No, 2 dogs and a cat.
2 dogs and a cat.
Yeah.
Oh yes.
Oh, what a great movie.
Oh, it was a good book too.
Have you ever made the police log?
No.
No,
You didn't see me, I
unequivocally.
wasn't here. Yeah, no.
I forgot witness protection.
Yeah.
How does it go? All this is fake. I'm not.
Yeah, I'm not really John Buehler. They just rented me.
Those mechanical horses you have though are pretty cool.
Oh, it's all animatronics. Cue the horse. I'll let you. Or were you the guy that was caught rifling through 2 cars on Spring Mountain Road?
Lock your cars.
Yeah.
Oh, here is the biggest crime in Napa Valley.
Let's hear it.
I think it was a service, actually, not a crime. A box of wine was stolen from someone's porch on Church Street. Not a bottle of wine, a box
Box.
of wine.
John, tell me, Buehler has never put wine in boxes unless they're a case.
Yeah.
Okay, thank you.
Not that I
So,
couldn't.
where do you got? Okay, I've seen you. You're very well distributed. How many?
That's kind of personal. Oh, you're not gonna put wine. Oh, sorry there, Chris. That was a comment on my. Yeah, anyway.
It's true. I have no response. The wine.
Is you're the same way?
No comment. The wine that you so amazingly make here. Who's your winemaker? It's
David Cronin,
David Cronin. Okay, cool. Been with you for
25 years.
You know, I see a common thread here at Buehler, and that
You're
is
not paying everybody too much.
no one leaves.
No,
No one leaves. 28 years for Salvador.
I think
25 years for your winemaker.
and
Misha,
23.
23 years.
I think that's the highest compliment someone can give you.
If no one's willing to leave, you're doing something right.
Yeah, it's like
Yeah.
Hannibal Lecter in Silence of the Lambs. You know, it's just he won't let them. They're chained.
What's the
Chained
secret?
to their
What's the
desk.
secret?
As I said, I think I'm paying them too much. Well, first of all, I'm not the boss. And Amisha, if you're out there listening, okay, don't punish me tomorrow when you listen to this, because I know you will.
Thank you, Misha.
Thank you. Yeah, the Mish. Well, a dead cat in the police log. That's noteworthy. And roadkill.
Mm-hmm.
What about report of a civil issue between adult siblings?
That sounds like a personal problem.
That's what I was saying.
You know?
Why they call the
Okay,
police?
you got one. Officer reports moving a dead cat. Oh, okay. Really, not public works. Ooh.
Thankfully, Public Works is
Be
available.
careful. You know, those are the guys that who's
Pick up the dead cats?
Yeah.
What does Public Works wear? Are they in the orange?
Yeah. Orange and white. Yeah, they're in the white trucks.
Yeah, white
I
trucks.
don't think I've
City
seen
symbol.
them.
Yeah.
Oh, maybe I
One
have.
of them used to contribute to the to my kids. That's really funny. I mean, in high school,
Yeah.
who would party at the end of a dead end road, right?
Who wouldn't party at the end of a dead end
Yeah,
road,
but
John?
there's only one way in and one way out.
Oh,
The
here
sheriff
you're
just-
talking.
Yeah, exactly.
Oh, okay.
Now my kids could jump the fence and come home, but everybody else had to.
Where would you party on Con?
Like Hennessy.
Oh, of course.
But what
Yeah.
they do is when the cops showed up, they would take the beer kegs and push them out to the water, and then they would float back the next day to get the deposit.
Brilliant. Why did we not? I had never come out to a Con Valley party. I didn't come out to any
Should we
parties.
host
let's be
one?
honest.
Yeah,
I think we should.
we do that.
We could do our release party for this podcast.
We've
out
been
there.
trying to decide when to do that.
Yeah, at the beach. Yeah.
Good at Lake Hennessy. Yeah. No kidding. So people do that. Huh.
Anyway,
Well, you guys do have some pretty cool visitors up here. I noticed you had a amazing collection of challenge coins.
Yeah.
So, for those who don't know what a challenge coin is, John, can you run us through that?
Well, actually, you're better prepared to do that. So I'll let you tell the story.
Okay. So, which I owe you one from
Yes, you do.
my medevac company, which will be coming shortly.
How many do you have?
Oh God, I have a whole box of them,
Oh, you do.
and I'm so
So I
jazzed by what I see here in the tasting room at Buehler because they've got 3 amazing cases with all the challenge coins listed.
And
but
a fourth one in the works, so there's one over there.
well, then my coin will be in the 4th one. Challenge
you
coin.
bought somebody in the first one, and yeah, so you get a promotion.
Sounds good.
Major.
Wow.
Actually, I really like how Hillary described it because you clearly know the challenge coin. So
About the bar?
yeah, if you're at the bar,
So, yeah, my brother's lucky enough to have an ambassador challenge coin, which I hear is
yeah,
pretty...
it trumps all.
It's pretty snazzy.
Yeah.
And if you have a challenge coin in the bar and you both bring them out, the higher one gets the free drink. And then you were saying if someone doesn't have it, then they have to buy it, right?
It works this way. If someone challenges you and you don't have your coin yet, you're buying a round of drinks for everybody. If you have yours, even if they have theirs, they end up buying a round of drinks. As I say, either way, somebody's drinking for free. And you hope it's not the guy who had to pick up the tab.
Oh, goodness.
Basically, the premise of 911, drink for free.
Yeah. Did I mention the leaf blowers scare me?
They're scary.
They are scary. Yeah.
Here's a comical one to lift the mood.
Let's hear it.
Landlord requests assistance moving ex-tenant from the property. When asked if the subject was in process of moving out, the landlord advised, yes, but he's been doing that for the past 8 months.
Sweet.
Fool me once, shame on me.
Or also in 1998, female on Spring Street reports that her neighbor's dog is always chasing her, and she's tired of it. What kind of dog was it though? Was it like a cute cuddly one, just wanted to play?
The police log is usually good about giving very good descriptors about these dogs, and I feel like we need to know
Left
more.
that out.
Yeah.
Oh, here's a good one for you to read. At 8:38 at night.
A man said his ex was on the Spring Street property and he didn't want her there. Well,
Fair enough.
call the cops.
Get going.
Yeah. It's so sad.
Oh, here's a not scandalous is not the right word. I can't think of vocabulary anymore. But here's one.
We go on, might have something.
Maybe just a little. Report.
Because Chris passed out about 5 minutes ago.
You know, it's just you and me left.
There
We gotta
go,
finish
yeah.
this podcast off. Report of a reckless driver speeding and pointing a laser pointer at other drivers on northbound Highway 29 near Oakville Grade.
Ooh.
Initially, I was picturing like a laser tag, but now I
No.
realize it was just one driver.
Lasering is really a problem. Like I had someone in Hawaii do that to me, and while I was
You're
flying,
flying.
yeah, and I got
You
really
get a
angry.
green line, you
Yeah,
get a green line.
whites out your goggles, and you can't see anything. And I actually ended up turning towards it and flying right over the laser,
Was that enough to do?
just being in a fit of rage, which probably isn't the best way to fly a helicopter, but
Our tax dollars at work.
I think they were a little scared after I looked like I was coming in to land on top of them.
That's my next one. Any hard landings?
No hard. I've had a couple
Bumpy.
hydraulic problems. We'll just say
Okay, we'll
so.
call it hydraulic.
Yeah, well, hydraulic problems.
Wasn't pilot error.
We landed in a cow pasture once in Honduras. I was flying with my friend Sam Deal.
Soft landing?
Relatively soft.
Okay.
Yeah, there was no reported injuries,
Were
but
there any cows hurt?
there were no cows here. But they all came up. We spent the night in the cow pasture.
Oh, that's funny.
It was really fun.
Seriously?
Yeah, absolutely. Our collectives stuck. So for those non-helicopter pilots out there, the collective is the thing that makes the trees get bigger or smaller. You can go up or down, right? It's your left hand. And we were flying along. I was giving my friend Sam the local area orientation for the area we trained in Honduras. And he said, "Hey, man, stop. You're blocking the collective." And I said, "No, I'm not." And he said, "I can't move it." And then I went over to move it, and
You didn't
sure as hell, I couldn't move it.
So hydraulic.
Hydraulic problem, right? And
Hydraulic leak probably.
It was a couple different things after we found out. But so I did a sweep, made sure our seatbelt wasn't hooking the collective. And then we just turned right back toward the LZ. We were about 200 feet. And I can remember our crew chief in the back screaming, actually our medic, screaming, "Trees, trees, trees," as we turned back into the LZ. And we made it, we landed. But it took two of us to force that collective
that thing,
up and down. Yeah, and we could move the collective down. We couldn't put it back up. So there's a problem. If you have one way to go with the collective, you'd much rather it go up than down. But we could only get it down. We couldn't go back up. So we did this kind of run-on landing, muddy cow pasture, landed there, and then we called our boss and said, Sorry,
Come pick us up.
your two new company commanders are stuck in LZ Bravo with the cows.
No.
We spent the night there. It was cool.
That's funny.
Made some friends
We made
with
some
the
friends.
cows.
Not as cool as the Buehler horses, which their names are again.
Brady, Chico, and Don.
Oh,
Hillary made
I
some
like
new
to refer
friends.
to them as the resident hay burners. Yeah, the
I love that.
lawnmowers. Yeah, but, easy keepers.
And where do you normally ride them? Where's the?
Just around.
just
They're
around the
just, yeah,
property.
I mean, at this point in time,
Yeah.
they're overgrown pets. Well, you experienced them this day.
they're little cuddlers.
They are.
Oh,
I
well,
love it.
large cuddlers.
1,200 pounds.
Just,
Yeah.
just a wee big.
Yeah, exactly.
Just, you know, when I eat a little too
Hunka,
much
hunka,
pizza,
hunka,
a little
burning-
fluffy.
Hunka burning love, right? Yeah.
Do we have one to close us out? Do you have a last one, Chris?
I don't. I was just going to ask about where we could get Buehler wine.
Yeah.
Go to Sunshine.
Cool.
Yeah.
Okay. But you guys, by that I mean your wine, is well distributed. I mean, I've seen this stuff in Hawaii. I've seen it in other states. You guys are out there quite a bit.
Yeah.
Yeah. So, best place to go to buy
Besides Sunshine.
besides Sunshine?
Like, if people don't live here, how would they
Yeah.
get
How would
it?
they get it? You have a club?
Oh yeah, we have a club, but then they have to deal with Misha, who is the director of sales prevention, by the way. If she's having a bad day, it's around, but yeah,
It's
but
perfect.
thank you.
Yeah. Well, it's really good,
It's
and the history
delicious.
here is great.
You owe me a challenge coin.
I will get you a challenge going. I have it
You
right
owe me
now.
my first vaccine injection.
I will, as soon as the corona vaccine.
Deathly fear of needles.
You know, I don't give the injections that often. I don't know if you want me doing it,
No,
but
sure.
I will make the sacrifice.
Thank you. The ultimate sacrifice.
Mm-hmm.
Well, watch a grown man cry, right? It'll
You
take
know,
me, drop me to my knees.
It won't be the first or last time in my job.
Yeah.
Oh man, John, thanks a ton. This was really cool.
All right, you owe me a challenge, Brian.
Absolutely.
You gotta come out with your dad sometime.
I will. I
Well, I'm
will.
gonna take the Jeep ride out to the back because it's really, and Dan and your dad were talking about it. There's a, it goes almost back to Moore Creek.
Cool.
Our ranch does.
Yeah.
And as I said, your dad's gotten bear on the webcam and tons of bobcats. But there's just every place out here that you look down on Lake Hennessy, you get a different perspective, a different view.
How cool.
And it's just, I mean, I think. All right, it's a wrap.
Thanks,
Yeah,
John.
thank you.
Cheers.
Do you want to say really quick before we cheers where to find us?
So find us at 91 Wine Podcasts on all the podcasts, which would be Spotify and or iTunes, and we're also on Instagram at 91 Wine. So check us out.
Okay, cool. Thank you.
Thanks, everybody.
Bye.
All right.
At 2253, you enjoy your evening and be safe.